Okay, captains for today or for this week against Pitt will be a couple. We got some new guys: Ryan B. and Chase Hancock on defense. Be first-time captains, and on offense, of course, Clinton Van Horn's been a captain, but we also have Tony Pittman, who will be a first-time captain there. So those are three of the four guys will be their first shot. As you know, Pitt, Villanova, of course, beat Villanova, beat a Penn State team, and went to Oklahoma State. And I guess it was tied and going in. It was the rain delay. Came back out. Oklahoma State scored at the end of the game to beat him. Then, of course, last week got beat the last play of the game at North Carolina. So they're an excellent football team. If you look at Pitt, they're number 3 in the country in rush defense. Extremely aggressive. They get after you. On defense, they got a big guy up front there named Jarrett. It's number 6. You look at him, he's 6'3", he's about 350, and he's a load in there. And he plays. Amazing thing about him is the number of plays he plays and how hard he plays for as big as he is. And they got a kid named Price, number 5, who creates a lot of issues on the edge for you. Just a tremendous athlete that can rush the passer. On offense, they got a player named Henderson who's leading the country in all-purpose yardage, and he's just a tremendous player, number 10. He's all over the field. If you watch him, they do a lot of things with misdirection and motions and all that. He's second leading rusher on the team. He's one of the top 2 or 3 returners in the country in both punt returns and kick returns, who creates an issue for you also on special teams. And, of course, they got a great story in James Conner. He was a player of the year in the ACC. You guys know at one point, developed cancer, beat it, and he's just a tremendous kid and done a great job coming back. So be a great challenge for us going on the road for the first time. So it's important that Pitt's extremely tough football team, so we got to make sure we take our toughness and also our leadership is what you have to do on the road. So that's where we are.
2 Beckley guys as captains this week. That area's been pretty good to you all, hasn't it?
I never even thought about it. You just said that, but you're right. Yeah, it has, and there's been a lot of tremendous players come through here from Beckley, and those are just 2 more that if they got any more of them like those 2 guys, we'd sure like to have them. And of course, Legursky and all the whole line of players that have come through there have all been very successful here.
Those 2 guys have similar stories too. I mean, they came in, earned their way, and went from invited walk-on to captain. Both of them.
Yeah, that's a great story. Yeah, it sure is.
I know that Chase had to miss last week. Is he going to be back?
He'll be practicing today. Yes, he'll practice today. Yes.
How tough was it on him, Coach, to have to?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's no question. Anytime you're a competitor, you want to go play, especially in a game like that. So him not having the opportunity, it hurts. And but that's the way it is, and he's got to prepare and get ready for this week.
How much did it help you though? Garrett gets full game experience.
I mean, I'd rather not gotten the help that way. But there's no doubt that Garrett. I think about Garrett's a competitor. He went in there and fought hard and did some good things and in a very tough situation. And but there's no doubt that down the road that experience that he gained in that game will help him without doubt.
Going on the road for the first time, how good is it to have him back, especially for that, and not have Garrett going in as a leader for the first time on the road?
Well, there's just no doubt that Chase has got a lot of games, and he's still young, going into just his second year, but he's got a lot of games under his belt, and he's had the opportunity to go on the road and play in games, so he'll have the experience of doing that. But just he's our quarterback. He's a guy that's our quarterback and has experience there, and just getting him back out there today is going to help a lot.
Of course, you mentioned 29 people on the travel squad,
Mm-hmm.
29 new kids on the travel squad, and now they actually have to get on a bus and go farther than Barbersville to Huntington. What's the toughest thing about that process?
Well, I'm not sure it's a whole lot different other than the amount of time you're on the bus, unfortunately. So, they've been to the hotel. They understand. We don't change. We still, all our preparation's done here prior to leaving, on Fridays. So once we get on the bus, once we get to the hotel, whether it be in Barbersville or in Pittsburgh, our routine will stay the same, and the same routine will take place Saturday, being another night game. Will basically be the same routine we had this past week. So they've gone through that. They understand it, and it should not be an issue.
You've had plenty of experience against Pitt, so I know it's Marshall's first time playing them in history, but your experience is pretty well versed. What are some of your favorite memories against Pitt?
I'd rather not even go to there. I mean, we did play them a lot, and we won some and they won some. But I think I'm concerned about right now is preparing this Marshall football team to go play an excellent Pitt football team, and You know, like I say, if you look at that team, you know, the coach has done tremendous. They're extremely physical, extremely tough. They're well coached. You look at all three of their phases; it's a mirror image of who he is. I mean, his toughness, and they're extremely aggressive, as I mentioned before. On defense, offensively, they get after you. They run the football, and on special teams, they're well coached with good players. So, you know, it's you know, had an awful lot of games with them, and they were all. The thing about Pitt, they always had players. I mean, you're University of Pittsburgh, you know, from Marinos to Dorsetts to Hugh Greens to all of them. I mean, there's been players there every time you line up against them. The one common denominator every time you do play them is they have good players, and you what they should. I mean, they're in Western PA. There's a lot of players right there around Western Pennsylvania, and they've always done a good job of going into Ohio and Florida and everywhere else and getting really good players. And if you're at the University of Pittsburgh, guess what? You should have good players. You should. They got a great budget. They got a tremendous school. And if they don't have players, then there's an issue there. But they have players, and he's done a good job of getting them.
James Conner's story, how inspirational has that been for the entire landscape of college football?
Well, I mean, anytime, number one, you get a kid that beats cancer the way he did, but his attitude, I mean, you know, you guys have seen the same thing I have. I mean, he's just got such a tremendous, the attitude he took towards tackling that fight he had to fight was just unbelievable. And you got to give the kid an awful lot of credit, and I'm sure he was surrounded by coaches and trainers and doctors that deserve a lot of credit because he's just, you just got to be happy for a kid that battles like he battled and gets the results that he did because he's a tremendous kid that fought the fight and found a way to win it.
Have you coached in Hinesfield by chance?
You know, I haven't. I was talking to Billy this morning about that. I was trying to remember. I think we did coach at the Steelers' old stadium in the I think it was in the late '90s. I'm not sure when he moved to Heinz Field, but what was it? I can't. The old one was Heinz Field, right?
The old Three Rivers.
Three Rivers, yeah. I think I coached in Three Rivers, but not Heinz.
Doc, with Wade Pittman ran the ball and has run the ball when he's given a chance of being a captain, they're going to move him up
Yes,
in
it is.
the
Yeah.
pecking order.
Yeah, he'll start Saturday. Yes. Yeah, he will start. And Anthony Anderson will get more reps too because I felt like he deserves reps. So.
And both of those guys ran really well.
Physical,
Second half.
tough, and you know we ran the ball at times pretty well. You know, and that's going to be critical. We can do that not only this week but throughout the year.
Doc, after looking at how your defense did, I thought the front seven acquitted themselves pretty well on Saturday.
I thought the front seven played well. To be honest, you go back and look at that tape, and you know our front seven did some things that hadn't been done to that team. We got to get our, you know, still got some few issues in the back. Well, not few, we got some issues in the back end, but they played. You know, I thought Chris Jackson went in there and came back and played well. I mean, you know, after the improvement he made from week 1 to week 2 was tremendous. We got to continue to do that. We're going to be fine at the end of the day. You know, we got our front seven. I think are plenty good enough, and I think once we get Chris and some of those guys squared away back there in the secondary, you know, we'll be fine defensively. But you're right. Our front seven played well. We had to, our whole goal was and he's just a tremendous player. I want to move on, but was to try to keep him from getting started. And I thought we did a pretty good job with that, especially early on. And that was a credit to that front seven for getting that done.
You like that Corey Neely stepped up and made 12 tackles. You hate to have your safety have to make 12 tackles, though.
Well, sometimes Woody, though, that you know they're making tackles, but they're also in the run fits. You know, you got your safeties are when you're playing an option team, which is what they are when they're running the spread. Your safeties are actually in the run fits, and some of those tackles should take place 2 to 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. And you know, if you don't get your safeties involved in the run fits at certain times, you're down a hat in there. And so, you know, a lot of you sometimes you look at Pitt's defense, for example, and their safeties are hitting their heads on the line of scrimmage because of the way they play their defense. So, a lot of your safeties, because of the run fits, are going to lead your team in tackles at times. But
It's kind of remarkable, though, what that kid has done just
Yeah.
from last year to this year.
These tremendous kids worked really hard, and you know we misfit a couple run fits there, but he does. There's no doubt he's a great kid that's worked hard, and I'm happy for him.
Was last week a scenario where you take the game and you segment it and you look at that first quarter and you say, if our defense plays like this consistently, we're going to be tough?
I think what I told them, and I'm going to go on, because I told them, you know what, just play with the kind of effort that you played with. All right, throughout the year we'll be fine. I mean, give us the effort. And the entire our special teams were solid. I mean, there wasn't a deal on special teams that we got. You know, I thought just effort-wise, from a team standpoint. Now, if you just play with that type of effort the rest of the year, I think you look up at the end of the year and you go like we are, because they played with great effort, and we got to continue to do that.
Third down conversions, how concerning is it that you all have normally been in the high 30s to mid 40s range, and right now you're well below that?
Well, there's no doubt. That was an issue Saturday, of course. But I think our goal was to be around 50% on third down conversions, which is really good. Normally we're there. I mean, we've been there, for the last 3 years, so to speak, and even probably beyond that. But we've got to get better in a lot of areas, and third down conversions are one of them. Not only offensively, but also defensively. You get off the field. There was a couple third downs. That game could have been really close at half if we'd gotten off the field. But there's a 3rd and 12 down there. I think it was 14-0 at that point. We got them 3rd and 12, and if a guy makes a play right there, we're off the field there. So we got to do a better job getting off the field on third down, not on defense, and also we got to be able to do a better job of converting on third down on offense, without question.
Yeah, even though Pitt's offense isn't as explosive, that's going to be a big thing this week. They're really high in time of possession and things like that too. They'll run the ball 50 times if you let them.
They will. And the thing they do is they do a lot of. If you watch them on tape, they're a lot of those are speed sweeps with their receiver is the second leading rusher. Number 10 is not a tailback; he's a receiver, but he's their second leading rusher on their team. And they do a lot of perimeter runs with their jet sweeps and all those kind of things. So they create a lot of issues with you with their motions and movements, as far as your run fits are concerned with your safeties. And there may be a safety leading tackler again this week because of the run fits, because of the speed sweeps and those kind of things that have to happen. So, we've got to do a great job with that. But there's no doubt, whether it's Pitt or whether it's North Texas down the road or whoever it is, if you don't get off the field on third down and you don't convert on third downs, then you've got problems with both sides of the ball.
But offensively, are they going to be the type of team that finds themselves in more 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s than?
They'd like to be, Doug. I mean, that's anytime you're a running football team, you'd like to find yourself in a situation. If you look at your third down conversions, you're right. Anytime you're a team like Pitt that loves to run the football, you want to come up. If you run the ball, it's a 4-yard gain. That's what's considered a good gain. Which if you can go with it, get a 4-yard gain on both first and second down, you come up 3rd and 2, which is where you want to be in that situation. So I'm sure ultimately that's their goal, and they would like to get in a lot of 3rd and shorts, and of course, from our standpoint, we'd like to get them in a lot of 3rd and longs. So that's the game you play.
Their defensive end, I was asking Clint yesterday, I can't remember a time in which he's had 3 back-to-back weeks in which he's gone against premier defensive ends like what he's going to.
Yeah.
But this guy's second in the nation in sacks, and he looks like he's a little bit smaller of a DM.
I tell you what, he reminds me a little bit. I remember it was Delvis Dumerville that played.
Elvis Dumerville.
Dumerville played at Louisville. Was about a 5'10", 5'9" guy, still playing in the NFL, I think. And that's what this guy is. He's 5'11", maybe 6 foot, but he's about 240, 235, and he can really rush the passer. And you go watch him. But that's who he reminds me of. He was from Miami Jackson down in Miami, and probably like this kid was not a heavily recruited kid because he's 5'11", 6 foot. But you turn the film on, and he creates problems for you, not only in the pass game, but also the run game.
Obviously, you open the playbook back up again with your quarterback coming back. Did you have to close it down a little bit just to Garrett being in a first start and a 40,000 crowd and a big time team? I
think more than anything else, it was because of the team we were playing. I mean, you had to protect, and you had to get the ball out of his hands, and you had to, of course, do what he could know to do. We wanted to try to put him in a situation where he could be successful. We tried to get him some completions early, and didn't do a very good job of getting that done. So, to answer your question, we had to cut it back a little bit for him, but I thought Garrett's going to be fine. I mean, he's going to be fine, and
well, he looked like, honestly, from the first quarter to the fourth, you could see a change.
He did, and he just didn't get it. He didn't get to ease into it like you'd like a young freshman to be able to do, and you've seen a lot of football, Woody, and all of you, and I've coached a lot of football, and that's a team out there. If they're number 3, probably the number 3 team. It looks like a number 3 team in America when you look at them defensively and offensively and special teams. And I coached on a national championship team, and that's what we look like when we had those kind of kids. And so he lined up against a really good football team, and I thought for the most part held his own.
You want to teach him how to get down on a couple of those runs. He's
I
helicoptering
was
and
con-
taking a couple hits.
I was concerned we were going to have to put Smock in there after a couple of those. But, if we put Smock in there and he got hurt, then we will release that injury report, I promise. We'll tell you exactly what his injury is.
Likely a shoulder.
We'll tell you exactly what his injury is. As soon as it happens, we'll get a bullhorn and we'll be on it. Okay.
Pitt's front seven. They seem like they're a bigger group, but still as athletic as what you're seeing out of most teams.
A little different. I mean, the one end we talked, he's a tremendous athlete, and I'm not sure we've played against a guy. What I say his number was the big kid in there, number 6, and he's 350, maybe bigger. And he's a big guy. It's hard to move, and the linebackers aren't big, but they're just running downhill all the time. I mean, they're hitting their head on the line of scrimmage every play, so they're just extremely aggressive, and they've always got an extra hat in the box there, so you got to do a good job of. I mean, and they're extremely, as far as the blitz, they're going to bring a lot of blitzes from a lot of different areas. So you got to be really sound with your protections, and got to be able to match when you run the ball. You got to be able to get hands on the right people. Okay.
Sure. That defense has gotten in some crazy games, but that may be, is that misleading that they've given up some points the last few weeks?
Well, I mean, people been able to throw the ball. I mean, when you're third leader, I don't think they make any bones about their defense that they're going to stop the run, and you have to beat them throwing the football, and that's what they do. I mean, that's Michigan State and what they did at Michigan State, and that's what they're doing at Pitt. That's their philosophy, and at some point you got to be able to throw the ball around a little bit. And if you go back and watch the Oklahoma State film, I think he completed about, I don't know how many he completed, but I bet he threw the ball 30 times down the field, and may only completed 3 or 4 of them. But they were just go back and watch. It's interesting to watch how many shots they took down the field against that defense, and didn't get a lot of completions, but did get a couple for touchdowns. So that's kind of what people have done.
For your offense preparing this week, how similar is the look that you're going to get from them with him being a Michigan State guy to what you all face out here in practice every day?
I think we're similar as far as coverage is concerned a little bit. So yeah, we are similar. They play a lot of quarters. They play a lot of fire 3 stuff. They'll bring 6 and they'll play cover 3 behind it with vision. So they do some things that are similar to what we do. So going against each other will be a little easier this week than it has been. Okay, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.